But there is no disputing Peck's commitment to wind energy. In January of 2011, Peck left his government post to become president of Cooke, a company planning to purchase Hawaiian Electric. The company says it plans to make Hawaii 100% renewable in 10 years at a price tag of $36 billion. People like Lisa Linos have heard these claims before.
It is insane. Anyone who spends any time looking at our energy costs, how our energy system is set up, and by energy I'm talking about electric generation, would say we are wasting our time with wind. And the problem is, starting with government, and with the public hand in hand, the decision has not been about energy policy that makes sense, that meets all our needs, low cost and reliably and environmentally sensitive. We've picked a favorite. We want to build wind turbines. It's an expectation that if you build a wind turbine, it's going to solve a problem. Well, that's not true.
So it's not cheap, it's not proven, but surely it has to reduce CO2 emissions, right?
You look at Spain, you look at Germany, you look at Denmark, the three countries that have taken the experiment the furthest, and you look at their CO2 emissions, no reduction.
It isn't cheap, it isn't effective, and it isn't helping with CO2 emissions. But it is effective at one thing, according to Bryce and those who follow it. It is making the rich richer.
The scale of this fraud that is being perpetrated on the American people is unprecedented in modern times. What was the first big corporation in America to invest in the wind business? Enron. Who bought Enron's wind energy business when Enron went bankrupt? General Electric.
The multi-billion-dollar corporation paid zero taxes last year.
After deductions and adjustments, GE reported a negative 10.5% federal income tax rate and actually wound up with a tax benefit of almost $1 billion. Meanwhile, this country faces a staggering $12 trillion national debt, with skyrocketing deficits estimated to top $1.6 trillion this year alone. We are going bankrupt, and Washington refuses to do anything meaningful about it. But don't worry, the big corporations are doing just fine. See, they own the politicians and they own the government, as evidenced by these kinds of tax liabilities.
The big money in this business is being made by the big investment banks in New York and sophisticated investors who are seeing the ability to grab huge tax credits that are being offered by the federal government and cashing out on those tax credits. I talked to one investment advisor in Maine who's done an analysis on this industry, and he estimates that an average wind turbine in an average location has a free cash flow of on the order of $500,000 a year.
This is Castle & Cooke CEO David Murdoch at a community meeting in Lāna'i. The billionaire will likely win with wind. The mainland developer lives in Los Angeles but owns 98% of the island. While Murdoch will benefit financially, residents will not. They won't even get any of the power produced by the turbines, which will be funneled off the island. Instead, they'll continue to get most of their electricity from this aging energy source placed here decades ago. They will join the rest of the taxpayers of Hawaii, though, in footing the bill for this wind experiment. Eventually, taxpayers could wise up. It's already happening.